I'm going to show you guys what I've been working on lately. Part of it's for my personal curriculum, meaning that there's been a little bit of rhyme and reason to it, and some of it has just been really cool projects that have come about since. I finished a whole month of collages in my planner, and it started off as stickers and then it evolved into more kind of traditional types of collage, which I really used to love doing, and I'm really glad to be back into that style. I learned a lot from this. I learned how having a practice of kind of combining elements every day, the way collage has you do, is really helpful for me to feel connected to the creative parts of me, so much so that I can get into projects a little bit easier that even don't have anything to do with collage. I'm able to recognize that there is a warm-up period for me where it's very uncomfortable. It feels a lot of times like I'm not going to ever have a cool collage come out of this specific page or spread, and then I like break through that. And so it's been really good practice for me in kind of moving past the task initiation resistance that I usually get for different things. I also kept a junk journal, which I liked the practice of doing that and like learning how to do that. I decided that moving forward, I don't want to keep doing that. It felt like not enough payoff for my investment of time and energy. And I just didn't really enjoy making designs around like similar types of media, like receipts. So what I took from that is that from both of those practices, I took that I really like collaging. I like gluing things and sticking things to paper and making that paper more substantial. And I like doing that in a way that marks the daily passage of time. But there are parts of my daily log or my did it kind of ritual where I write down what I did in the day. There are parts of that I think can be simplified to a habit tracker, and I'm going to try to do something like that this month instead of doing like journal style. Another thing that I started this month was a kind of morning pages inspired practice of a worry book, and I used this as my opportunity to curate a really special, meaningful, good feeling and beautiful experience of actually coming and sitting down to write. So that included a pretty notebook. It included kind of being a little more experimental with the layouts and having good writing. Finding a pen that I liked writing with that would cause me to slow down. I also liked putting like washi tape on the pages, and at this point, this was yesterday's, and I haven't really done today's yet. I've found that I really like formatting a layout so that it doesn't feel like I'm just like writing on all these long pages. There's something about the breakup of text that I really find cool looking. So I'm gonna keep doing this guy. I have also broken into a couple notebooks that were made for me that I didn't want to use until I knew exactly how I wanted to use them. One of them is this one that my friend made me. She made both of these. She's an incredible artist. She made this for me on my birthday like 3 years ago, and I just found it again recently. So what I have been using this one for, that I'm so excited about because it kind of branches into another part of my personal curriculum, is the books that I've been wanting to annotate and really like suck all the juices out of and put into a creative project. It's still going to be a tarot deck, but in the meantime, I realized that I need phases of like research, I guess you could call it research and development, before you get there. And I found that I really like having those different stages look beautiful and like an art piece of their own. So instead of just like taking notes on my on my computer or in like a notebook. I wanted to kind of work through my struggles with like critical thinking and summarizing and comprehension, since I haven't really worked with those skills of mine for a long time. I developed an annotation system for my books. I am now summarizing them in really short little things for each chapter. I started doing it with Women Who Run with the Wolves. So what I did in this little notebook is I created a spread for the chapter. And I just put my notes here, and I wrote them on a separate paper with lined paper so I could make sure it looked neat. And then I did one more page like that. So that's how I'm using this, and I'm going to keep using this until I'm done with it. And I decided I'm going to bounce back and forth between the different books I'm reading. It's like a book journal, I guess someone said that today. This is another book that my friend made me. She didn't make it for me. She was teaching a class on bookmaking and so made this as a demo book. It's kind of funny because my last initial is D, so that's perfect. But this one I've been sketching in to illustrate certain concepts that I want to like actually share on here. I've also been, like this one, I've also been writing poetry in here and also playing with simple kind of designs with my paint pens. I was doing a lot of this kind of work in my black paper before this, on black paper pads, but like now I'm starting to incorporate my text in there. And I did like stickers here. So I'm letting myself play in this notebook. And I think the fact that it wasn't like made for me, it was kind of like an extra like bonus. I think that's where I like gave myself that permission to play in here. The last thing that I wanted to share that I'm like pretty excited about is my copy of Women Who Run with the Wolves is falling apart. And so I thought this would be a perfect opportunity to remind myself of how to bind books. So I found some cardboard boards that I had already, and I actually used a dress. One second. So I'm trying to save money and not spend money on things that I can be more creative with. So this is an old dress that I hadn't worn in a long time. It's like a chambray. You can see it's a little like jean kind of on the seams. I liked this pocket and the like seams there. So I used this to as like my book cloth, and I covered it with rice paper first so that it could be used that way. And I created this cover, and now I've gotten to the really fun part, and this is something I'm realizing about myself. I really enjoy creating designs that have meaning. I mean, that's like art making to me. So it fits perfectly. I'm going to, I'll show you how I'm doing that part right now. One sec, Penny. So the idea I had to decorate the cover is I found a couple of these spreads from when I was gathering material for my collages. And each of these spreads to me represents either like a color palette that is really interesting to me, that transports me just like in looking at it. Some of them, it's the imagery too, like the fact that this is kind of like a house in the forest, like that's helpful. Like fire and ice. And then these ones reminded me of like ancient Egypt. And these are all designs that I'm going to kind of allow to percolate in my mind. And then I'm going to kind of distill them down into a design that's probably a little more abstract, but using that color scheme for the cover of my book. And I've been kind of playing around with different like sketches for one of them. I just did one, and I'm just kind of like playing with those different colors. But that is what I've been up to lately. And I'm excited to see what comes in November. Thanks for listening.